Darren Aronofsky is one psychotic filmmaker who sends you into a state of depression across most of his filmography, and I'm going to be ranking all the major features. A lot of film purists are going to hate me for this, but I haven't seen Pi or The Fountain, so they're going to be honourable mentions of this list. So last place is Mother. At the time this movie came out, I did actually really love this movie because it was great seeing Jennifer Lawrence in a role where she wasn't phoning it in like X-Men, and Javier Bardem is fantastic. But I did think the more I thought about it and what it represented, and the whole God and Earth symbolisms, it was just really on the nose, and it just made the movie lack so much substance. Then we've got the often controversial Noah, which is a step outside Darren Aronofsky's visceral dramas or psychological horrors. I think this movie is really creative in terms of where it takes the epic biblical story, and I think Russell Crowe does a phenomenal job. It's got great CGI, spectacle and action when it's needed, but I just don't think I can put it any higher. I really want to love The Whale because it gave Brendan Fraser his renaissance, so to speak, and he is an absolute force of nature. I'm glad he got the Oscar, but I just feel like this movie is really overly melodramatic, even as far as Darren Aronofsky goes. I just didn't really end up caring about this character or the story, the situation, and it is very noticeably based off a play, and not a very great play. Then we have Caught Stealing, his latest movie, which on the outset looks like a Guy Ritchie or Edgar Wright movie, but the sense of dread that Aronofsky is so good at really does settle in. It gives Austin Butler one of his finest, if not the finest performance that he's given, and the rest of the supporting cast around him is great. I'm really glad Darren Aronofsky moved away from his usual streak and actually spread out into a different genre. In this case, it's a slick crime thriller. I've only put Black Swan at third place because I am not Natalie Portman's biggest fan. I've seen her in some pretty bad stuff, but when she's great, she is great, and Black Swan might just be her best work because this is a haunting, hair-raising, psychological horror. The Wrestler is my number two because it's a sports drama that really does away with the whole genre tropes, and that's what Darren Aronofsky does best. He goes where directors usually don't go because it's a tried and tested genre, and you don't get any of those tropes here. I mean, Mickey Rourke, say what you want about him, but he is just one of a kind in this role. I think the ending to this movie absolutely crushed me. Not quite as much as pretty much the entire experience of Requiem for a Dream. This movie I avoided like the plague. I only plucked up the courage to see 2 years ago, and I literally found it so depressing that I swear to God I got a cold the next day. The cast of the four main actors are just absolutely incredible, particularly Ellen Bernstein. She absolutely deserved that Oscar. Jennifer Connelly as well definitely deserved an Oscar in her own right. Keith David plays one of the scariest antagonists ever. Flint Mansell's score is earth-shattering. The editing, the camera angles, the sound design. It's a movie that is designed to make you depressed and